you over here. And these guys. All right. So yes, like I said, the topic really is multi-purpose facility planning, design, and renovation.
Okay.
And so, like with my first question, I guess, more or less pertains to your position. You
Yeah.
are the student athletics administrator slash director for Eagle Crest
Yep.
High School, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
And so, would you mind briefly describing like your journey, how you got there? Like, are
Yeah.
there any
Sure.
specific titles, certifications, or interests of note that like led you to that position?
Yeah. I just way back when, a long time ago. Yeah. I started teaching as a social studies teacher and coach baseball. And
Okay.
so, after a few years, of coaching baseball, and I realized that I had an interest in, um, really working with coaches and watching other athletes of other sports. And it just kind of led me into athletic administration a little bit. I got my administrative credential, or what you call out here in Colorado, type D. So this is when I was in Southern California working.
Okay.
And so that journey started about 2008, I'd say, where I became an assistant athletic director, and then as an athletic director in '09, 10, 11, went to a private school for a year, Harvard Westlake, which was one of the most probably well-known private schools in the country in terms of athletic achievement and academics. It was a great experience there. And then I moved out here, and got the athletic director job at Eagle Crest in summer 2013. Been here ever since.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So then, what through all that has your like experience been with like facility planning
hmm
and design and renovation?
Yeah, I would say it's really taught me to be extremely organized in terms of, how I communicate about facilities and organizations, and also really understanding the needs of each program in terms of their facilities and what they need to be successful. Um, it's really what it comes down to is trying to make sure kids have a space to compete in, a space to
Mhm.
practice in, a space that's safe for them, and then ultimately seeing what we could do to make improvements wherever we can. But with that, with finding the spaces and really identifying the spaces that each team's going to practice or play games at, it's really being very communicative to coaches, and really under really making sure they're informed consistently about what we need to do, because this is ever changing with weather, with moving games to a different field, different location. For example, today, we have a JV lacrosse game, girls lacrosse
Mhm.
game. I'm moving this game to the turf, rather than playing on the grass, because our grass just got there's
Yeah,
some
it's
damage
soggy.
done, and so it got resodded and all that. So I'm moving a game to the turf. Well, I have to make sure our track coach knows, hey, make sure the turf is cleared, make sure we're going to play JV lacrosse there today.
Yeah.
So I think it's really a twofold: making sure you're completely organized in terms of where teams are, but also make sure you communicate those type of things. So
Yeah. Communication is key then.
yeah.
And that's all also keeping in consideration like the student athlete is like your sole
Oh
focus,
yeah.
really.
hmm Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Gotcha.
sure.
Yeah. Versus like say the Broncos Stadium or any of those professional places are like customer focused
Yeah, for sure.
a
And
little
and you
bit
just want
for their
and you just yeah,
facilities.
you're just trying to have, you always have to keep that at the forefront of having the best interest of students in mind, making sure they have the best space to play,
Mhm.
making sure they have a safe place to play, all that for sure.
Cool. Cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Um, are there any current renovation projects that you're working on?
Yeah, well, being that we're in a district school, a lot of that is out of my hands,
Okay.
but in terms of costs and trying to do some different things. So our I'm sure you probably heard, but Our turf field will be closed the whole summer because we are redoing our track.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a
Okay.
big renovation we're doing. But we're also doing, as far as as far as the building, we're adding another, we're adding onto our cafeteria to create some more space. Right next to us at Thunder Ridge, their field with the track is getting turf this summer.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so there's a lot going on this summer. I've had input in terms of what we want the track to look like. But again, it goes back to making sure you're extremely organized about where teams are going to practice. Like, unfortunately, football, they're going to have to practice on the grass all summer, and we have to make sure, like, we have a girls soccer camp. We'll have to make sure to get Legacy Stadium for that. We have to, for flag football, we have to get them in a different spot. We have to get,
Yeah.
we have to boys soccer. They usually practice on the turf at nights, during the summer. Well, we got Legacy Stadium for them at nights in the summer. So it's just being flexible, I think, is an important attribute to have, but also being creative and what type of spaces that those teams can practice on when you do have renovation and construction that is going to interfere with the normal schedule, right?
Yeah. I totally get that. There's a lot of moving pieces there.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, are there any experiences that you learned from like in the past that make you, I guess, better suited for future projects that you feel?
Yeah,
Uh,
I think, you're always going to learn, in terms of when big projects happen and learning
mm,
how to communicate better, how to organize better. I think the big thing is being out front and being proactive with it, as best you can. I think that, and probably maybe I didn't communicate on certain things as best I could, a lot of years ago. Hopefully I've
yeah.
learned from that and are better for it. But I think a key piece of it is really getting out front of information and informing your coaches and informing your teams when you know that information.
Mm, gotcha. Okay. This is more, I guess, on that planning side there. So
Yeah.
when conducting research and like needs assessments for facility planning, design, and renovation, like what methods or approaches do you use and who is typically involved in that process?
Yeah, so a lot of district personnel are going to be involved in that process, whether project managers and things like that. And I think, you know, um, you know, for things that I'd say are simple things. For example, we installed some netting out by the throws area for track this year. And so that was so, lacrosse balls wouldn't go into the throw area for track. Well, I just, we discussed the need with our track coach and we said, okay, here's what we can do. This is pretty cost effective. We can take care of this. Okay, let's get this installed. So some of it is just simple communication for a coach
Mhm.
and between a coach and athletic director and finding out, what that need is, if it's, cost effective enough, if we can afford to do it, how's it going to get installed, and just go do it. But obviously the bigger projects when you're tearing up a track or doing, or putting in, installing a new turf field, those are bigger
Yeah.
conversations at the district level. So
Okay.
typically, operations managers and project managers and all that, and most of that stuff has to go off to bid, things like that. So
Oh, okay. So you guys, yeah, there you guys have some input, but it's more
yeah.
of a request from you guys to the
Yeah, sure.
district,
Yeah, I say, hey, this
and
is,
then of
yeah,
course
we
everybody else has their requests, and they have
right.
to
Yeah. For
finagle
example,
budgets
like
and
for Dave, like for the track, for instance, we probably in the last 3 years, our track has really been torn up and really needs to be redone. So I've communicated to the district athletic director over the past couple of years, hey, we really need a track. This is, it's continually, we're having to continually repair it with the renter track company who comes out probably twice a year and has to
wow,
repair, divots that come out of the track. And so the request, so it's been known for few years how we need a new track. And
right,
so,
and patching it
but
up.
yeah, right. Yeah. You keep patching it up. Keep sending money to do that. Well, the bond passes and, okay, the track is on the bond list, bond passes. Okay. Now we're getting a new track.
Oh,
So,
okay,
yeah. So,
nice.
yeah. So that's, sometimes it's waiting for bond passes. Sometimes it's finding different funding, different ways to do that. But obviously that's the track, getting a track is in the 500 to 750K range, I guess. So something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Off the top of your head, off the top of your head, are there any like other, I guess, future current or future projects that are coming up?
Yeah, so we are our baseball and softball field are getting turfed in the summer of 28.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And so
Yeah.
then you
So
gotta put the bid in for that
yeah.
and then
And so it's already happened. So Cherokee Trail's getting theirs done this summer, Grandview next summer, and then Eagle Crest in 28.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. We just kind of keep taking turns.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that was based on, our needs for our building this year and the amount of construction going on in our building with the cafeteria add-on, with
Mhm.
HVAC and things like that. So, we pushed it off. We couldn't do it this year just because of the congestion around our building and trucks and construction going on. So we, kind of had to push it out. And sometimes it's dependent on what's happening in your building about, what else can happen in other areas too.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. Um, let's see here. What I guess are some more key considerations for the like I guess with the track, the renovation of the track for
Uh-huh.
that project. What were some of the key considerations for the renovation and adaptability of the facility?
Yeah, I think when you consistently are, are doing repairs to it,
Uh,
and consistently, realizing that this track has been depleted and is worn down and is really on its, is really um kind of just past its point of being effective and being safe.
mhm,
I think that puts things in motion in terms of, and puts it as a priority, and puts it as a little bit of sense of urgency of how to make sure we get some of those things rolling, and know how important it is to get a construction project based on, again, based on damage, based on based on it not being suitable anymore, to
right.
hold meets and to hold competitions and things like that. So
Okay. If there are any, do you know like what advances in sustainability and technology might be featured in this new
yeah,
renovation?
it's a good question. I would not have an answer for that.
Okay.
I hope we're getting the best and the
Yeah.
best and most modern track available, in terms of the materials, in terms of the surface and all that. So I hope we're getting a good one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to keep patching holes and
No,
stuff,
we don't.
right?
So,
So, okay. All right. And does like community usage and support factor into the planning and designs?
well, yeah, I
How
think,
so?
yeah, I think when a bond is approved, right, that says the community is supporting this venture for capital funding, and, for new
Right.
projects and things like that. So, I think it's appreciated that our community is wanting our schools to be upgraded, and to be modernized, and to be as efficient as they can for students and the community, right? And
Mhm.
so, yeah, we're going to continue, obviously, to, probably see it on Sundays. Sometimes the field gets rented, sometimes the community uses the track, community uses the tennis court. So, yeah, when the community supports those type of things, then, they're invariably have some access to it.
Got you. Got you. I'm guessing so like would you I don't know if you know or not, and this is off the script, but with the Cherry Creek High School's campus, like their field is like enclosed, right? Versus ours is open to the public. Is there like a
Yeah, a little bit.
difference there?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would prefer it to be enclosed. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, because there's people, you can come here on a Sunday, and they're
it's
probably
packed.
not. That's probably and I don't know if it's been rented out or people are just coming. So,
Right.
so it's frustrating because it's open, it's easily accessible. And there's the fine line of, okay, do we close it off, or do we, because, some of the things have been, helped to be paid by the community, do we allow some access to it? So,
Right.
that's, yeah, that's a fine line, and it's tough. Yeah. But, But Grandview's open too. Cherokee Trail's open
Yeah,
too. You just you park you park right in that parking lot and just walk around to the field at Cherokee Trail too. So I mean,
right.
yeah, it's tough to make it enclosed at a lot of our spaces on campus.
Okay. And so you said that the bond is like the primary funding
Yeah,
agent there. How is like the budget determined? Is that again with like the higher ups of
yeah. That
admin?
I have no say in how that money gets spent.
Okay,
Yeah, that with the bond, however much million it was, certain is going to get allocated to. I don't know if they do it by the six schools, or do they, determine it in other areas? I'm not sure.
okay, okay. But then like it'll be proposed to like
Yeah,
financial services and
sure, all that. Yeah,
then the
and then
approval
and
procedure and
but
all that.
and we have a say though in terms of what our needs are, and
Yeah.
that's how and when things get on the bond or the proposals for facilities, we say, hey, yeah, our school is our enrollment's big enough where we need an addition to the cafeteria. Okay, so that's a big thing. We need a new addition to the science wing. We need a new addition. We need a new track.
Right.
We need new bleachers for the our swimming pool area. So those all, we have a say in terms of, and we have input in terms of what are our priorities for our school, what are our priorities for a building, and then hopefully we can get most of it.
Okay. Okay. And this might question might be a stretch, I'm not sure, but like within like the planning stages,
Uh-huh.
right? Say for instance with the track renovation, is
Yeah.
this like just another step into a bigger renovation
Um,
of that facility? You know, like
I
you
don't think
guys are
so. Not
starting with the track and then maybe
far as
some
I know.
concession stands or the football field, or is
Far
it
as I
kind of
know.
like just as it
Yeah,
as the needs come in?
yeah, and that's been yeah, that was discussed for sure. But and there was some planning or at least some exploratory planning done in that case. But I think there was from what I know there were some issues with the water cycle and water development and where water comes from, in terms of what's in terms of the north side or the south side, and so and what they have to, renovate or dig up and things like that. So
Uh,
they did a little research on it, and determined that, at this time wasn't going nothing in terms of adding bathrooms or something like that was going to be feasible, but adding a new shed or something like that could be possible.
okay, okay. But
Yeah.
those kind of things are, I guess, considered like what you mentioned the swimming pool and bleachers. Like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I haven't been in there in a while, but considering like concession stands or anything like that, I don't know if you can really eat near the pool. It smells, but
Yeah. Yeah.
my
Yeah. Not
personal
so much in the pool,
opinion.
not so much in the pool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, probably not so much in the pool area, but I mean, that's we've talked about some different things,
Or even
in terms
expanding.
of yeah, in terms of what the needs are for the field, for instance. I really want to make it I really want a press box type of feel where for lower level football games, somebody can sit up and take care of the clock and do those things, in terms of a press box. Yeah, I've let it be known that that would be, one of the things that I would, want for that area down by the bleachers, but. Yeah, we'll see if that happens.
Okay, okay. And as the director, athletic director there, you have to attend all sports events, or how does that
Yeah,
expectation work?
I want to get to as many games as I can, for sure.
Right.
And yeah, I was at just for example, this week I was at um girls lacrosse Tuesday night. I was at last Saturday. I was at um last Saturday I was at girls soccer um and volleyball. So you just you try to get to as many as you can, knowing that I would say it's probably 2, 3 times a week I'm gone at events.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that those coaches know I support them and
Yeah.
know they're valued by me. Know how hard they work, and how committed they are. So it's important that I get out there and make sure that they see me, make sure they know I'm supporting them. make sure they know I'm here for them and here for whatever they need. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we appreciate it for sure from a coach's
yeah,
standpoint, and
yeah,
you know, we try to support and represent our brand as best as we can. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's
Um,
important that as an athletic department, with all the coaches we have to be aligned. Um, we have to want the same thing. We have to, yes, we want to win games and be successful, but we want to give the best experience we can for our student athletes. Treat them, the way they should be treated. Be positive, be supportive, helping them get where they need to go. All those sort of things are what we align our values to as an athletic department, and we got to hire coaches who align with those values too.
right. Well, thanks for having me as
Yeah,
one of those.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we
um,
appreciate it.
yeah, you mentioned all the games. That's boys and girls. That's home and away as well.
Yeah, I mean there's certain events we won't cover away, that are less, I would say less volatile, less high energy, I'd say.
Okay.
So we won't cover, for example, we probably won't cover some girls lacrosse away games. We probably won't cover some softball away games, some baseball away games. We just don't have the manpower to do it for one.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. It's a lot of
and
time
so yeah, and so, but every home game we have, we cover.
for sure. Okay.
Between
Okay.
myself, assistant principals, deans, every home game we cover.
Staff.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah.
As you're like finding yourself away at facilities, do you ever kind of like, I guess, eyeball any of
Oh
their
yeah,
things at facilities like they have, and you're like, hey,
absolutely.
I kind of want that or anything?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I take a look at whether schools have facility
A little
wise,
bit of envy.
whether in their gyms, on their fields, whatever it is. Absolutely, you get some ideas of what you can do or how some things work and what space you have to create and things like that. For sure, I'm always doing that. Yeah,
All right, cool. Well,
yeah.
yeah. I think we're just about on time. I know you're a very, very busy man. How many sports is that you oversee?
I about 22.
Boys and girls,
Yeah,
22.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. And yeah, and then you have to times it by two because of boys and girls usually.
yeah.
So just about
So
that.
yeah,
That's a lot, man. Well,
I know.
again, appreciate all your time.
Oh,
And
yeah. Anytime, Danny.
if I have any other follow-ups, I'll email you,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I hope I was helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Take care, buddy.
Enjoy the
Talk
rest of your
soon.
day.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Take care.